What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark. It's like you know me in the depths of my heart. We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're living like this could be our final day. We're dreamers. Don't care what the others say. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive in the nighttime. It's something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. We come alive. We come alive.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Doctor? Did you say doctor? Anyways, it is Friday, May the 6th. The day of recovery is apparently what the hell is going on for some. If you enjoyed El Cinco de Mayo a little bit more than most. Anyways, today's Friday, like I said, May the 6th, day 126th of the year. Yes, that's day 126th of the year, and only 239 days remaining before it is all over with. So that's the good part there. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. So just in case if you're wondering where the hell we're located, that's where we're at. We're in Orlando. Anyways, as we are broadcasting across the multiverse of Safety FM. And when I say that, some people go, well, what the hell does that even mean? Well, we are on the streamer. We are on the radio stations. So that is the multiverse. And the streamers are a little bit of everywhere. So it goes everywhere, anywhere, and wherever you want to hang. So that makes it a little bit of everything. So that's where that comes in. And then, of course, we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff with.
Radio.
Of course, hanging out with our friends at Radio Big. So there you go. Or should I do it again? Radio Big. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on as we are speaking, hanging, and banging, and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's get right into it right away, and let's start talking about what was trending and what is trending right now. So let's do that. We'll start talking about the trends going in, going out, going around, and all that kind of fun stuff, because that just makes it a lot easier to do. Anyways, in honor of National Day of Prayer, Twitter users urge others to pray for their loved ones, school, churches, law enforcement, military, judges, and political leaders in D.C. Others attached National Day of Prayer to tweets, including one of their favorite passages. So there you go. Or should, when you say passages, are you talking about Bible verses? Can you just say Bible verses? Passages. I mean, I'm not even sure what that means. Okay, so yesterday was Cinco de Mayo. In case you did not know, some tweets were celebratory, and others called out people wanting to a wall at the southern border, while others drowning themselves in queso and margaritas. Queso and margaritas. How about some tequila? I mean, I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with queso. I'm not a big fan of margaritas, so there you go. And I really don't drink, so I guess I'm really not a big fan of alcohol. But, you know, if I have to tequila is the way to go. Anyways, Revenge of the 5th landed on Twitter's top 10 yesterday because, may the 4th be with you, and then the Revenge of the 5th because that's what people do. Hanging out, having fun along the lines of Star Wars-y. So there you go. And then House of the Dragon was trending on Thursday after the first official trailer HBO dropped. The series is set to premiere in August. So there you go. So let's talk about this real quick as we are talking because, it is that time to do so. It is Friday. If you have nothing going on this weekend and you need to hang out and do the video on demand services, I got a few of them on what is going on. New to HBO Max is Dear Van Helsing. New to Hulu is Hatching. New to Netflix is Along for the Ride. And then Mandamuck and Thar, not Thor, Thar. And The Takedown. So there you go. That will be the array of stuff that is readily available if you're so inclined to go out there and take a look-see. Anyway, so if you're new to the show, let me explain to you the layout of the land. The land kind of goes something similar to this. We talk about safety in the news and what is going on inside of the world of safety. We kind of come back after we have some professional broadcasters come in and give us some words of news, encouragement, and what is going on inside of the world. And then we come back, we kind of put a big bow on side of it and then go from there. But with it being Freeform Friday, there is no rules, my friend. There is no rules. So we just kind of go wherever you want to go. You say it, we do it, and go from there. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com, and that'll get everything moving. That's no problem right there. That is messaging, video messaging, and voicemail. So a little combination of todo la vida. So there you go. You have some things that you can do right there if you want to do so. Okay. So with that being said, I think it's time for us to consider bringing in our professional broadcasters that, they know what the hell they're doing because I sure as crap don't have any clue what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Protests over the Supreme Court possibly ending abortion rights are about to get personal. One activist group is planning to take their anger straight to the homes of 6 justices on Wednesday. They posted a Google map online showing addresses in Virginia and Maryland. And Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer will try to move abortion rights legislation forward next week. Mark Mayfield reports.
A Democratic bill would protect abortion rights under federal law. The move follows the extraordinary leak of a draft Supreme Court opinion suggesting a looming end to abortion rights in the U.S. Democrats would need help from several Senate Republicans to move the bill forward. I'm Mark Mayfield.
23 weapons in one carry-on bag. That's what TSA found at an airport in Virginia. More from Trey Thomas.
A man was cited after he tried to take knives and scalpels onto a plane. Agents caught it at a security checkpoint and seized the weapons. But that wasn't the only surprise this week. Officers at a Boston airport also found a sword hidden inside a cane. The passenger said he had no idea it was there when he bought the cane and was cleared to fly.
The trading week is winding down on Wall Street after stocks plunged dramatically yesterday. More from Mike Bauer.
The Dow Jones lost over 1,000 points. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ fell 3.5% and 4.9% respectively. The steep fall came one day after the Fed Chair Jerome Powell announced the sharpest rise in interest rates over 20 years. With inflation now running at an annual rate of 8.5%, a 40-year high in the U.S., Powell said the Fed needed to do everything we can to restore stable prices. I'm Mike Bauer.
Pop star Harry Styles is going on tour. Styles announced the dates of Love on Tour 2022 just 2 weeks before the release of his third album. The tour kicks off Monday, August 15th. Tickets go on sale May 26th. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
More sarcasm with an Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Giles Gibson. With votes still being counted, the Conservative Party has lost more than 100 council seats in the UK local elections. The United Nations is once again trying to evacuate civilians trapped in the Azovstal steelworks in the Ukrainian city of Mariupol. And EU countries are still debating the details of a sixth package of sanctions against Moscow over the invasion of Ukraine.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
People in parts of the South are facing more threats of severe weather today, while the Central Plains and the Midwest could be in for it this weekend. This comes after tornadoes left trails of disaster in Texas and Oklahoma on Wednesday. Storms landed their hardest punches on Seminole, Oklahoma. A number of downtown buildings in the small town, about an hour east of Oklahoma City, are destroyed, and debris fills the streets. More than 7,000 homes and businesses still had no electricity early this morning. No reports of deaths or serious injuries. Most Americans don't want former President Trump's Title 42 policy to end. More from Brian Shook.
It allows border officials to turn away migrants who've reached the U.S. if there is a public health crisis. According to a new CNN poll, 57% believe it should remain in place. Nearly 3/4 of Americans have little to no confidence that the Biden administration would be able to handle an increase in migrants at the border. A Louisiana judge temporarily blocked the lift of Title 42 due to President Joe Biden's lack of a clear after plan. I'm Brian Shook.
The U.S. Marshals Service is releasing new photos of an escaped inmate and a corrections officer who went missing in Alabama last week. Officer Vicky White was taking murder suspect Casey White, no relation, to the Lauderdale County Courthouse when they disappeared, and neither have been seen since. New photos released Thursday show Casey White's tattoos, the blonde-haired Vicky White with dark hair, and the 2007 Ford SUV they might be driving. U.S. Marshals Service is offering up to $10,000 for information on the inmate and up to $5,000 for information on the officer. Sunday is Mother's Day, and the kids are expected to drop a record sum celebrating Mom. The National Retail Federation says Mother's Day spending will total $31.7 billion, $3.6 billion more than last year. The Federation expects consumers to spend $25 more than last year. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845
269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the right seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now? That live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging and banging on this lovely Friday. So, did you make it to the multiverse of madness, or is that on your agenda for this weekend? I'm just asking because, that is something that people are going to be doing this weekend with that coming out. So let's start talking about some things that are going across on the hit list because that is important as we are hanging, as we are banging, and all that kind of fun stuff. Anyway, CNBC reported Thursday that Elon Musk will personally manage Twitter as CEO once its takeover is finalized. The news came amid another SEC filing showing that Musk has solidified another $7 billion in investment commitments for his takeover. Musk is reportedly working with Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey to stay involved with the company. So there you go. It'll be interesting to see that. Oh, so, good old Twitter. Let's continue talking about some other stuff. A flight from London to New York had to return after 40 minutes once two pilots in the cockpit realized that both lacked the certification and training to fly together. The captain didn't have the accreditation to be a trainer, and the co-pilot hadn't completed enough proper training. Reps of the airline were eager to know that the captain has 17 years of experience, and the co-pilot was just one final assessment short of completing his training. Despite the confusion, the flight landed less than 3 hours late. Hold on. So imagine this. You're going London to New York, and all of a sudden, by the way, we're going to have to turn back. Reason? We don't have proper certification. You're going to be slightly pissed. Let's just be realistic, because that's going to be part of the gig. But also at the same time, too, you're going to be like, what the hell happened that the airline didn't catch this ahead of time? I mean, just come on. Let's just be realistic. Anyways, let's start talking about NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. Might prove to be the most fleeting fads of the last few years. The Wall Street Journal reports that NFTs are down 92%. Let's make sure that we hadn't said that again. The Wall Street Journal reports that sales of NFTs are down 92% since September. The NFTs might take a resurgence in the future, but haven't proved to be valuable enough to be sustained for practical investment. So listen, I say this and you kind of go, well, what are you talking about? Well, don't invest in something that you don't understand. It's just the easiest way to do it. Unless if you have money to waste, yes, and I am using the word waste here, then invest in something like that. But if you don't understand it, don't invest on it. Let's just be realistic. It's kind of the way that it goes. Anyways, the head of table tennis club in Britain has set a new world record for most consecutive players faced in a single game. It worked like this. Wednesday, Zhu served the ball, and then one by one opponents traded off, returning in all succession with no stops other than when to hit back. Ultimately, 117 people in a row participated against Wen, smashing the current record of 102. And the feat is still pending certification and verification by the Guinness Book of World Records. Does Guinness have anything to do with a beer? I mean, I'm kind of curious. I just want to know, have a better understanding of what I'm looking at here. That's for sure. So with that being said, I think it's time for us to get into some other things. Let's talk about the market beat. Hopefully, let's talk about the market beat. Let me bring in some John Smalls real quick, and let's get that moving.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, May 6th, 2022. Equity markets reversed course Thursday, giving up all the gains from the prior day. The relief rally sparked by the FOMC was met by another round of selling, driven by fear the Fed is not acting fast enough and that inflation will continue to be a problem. The S&P 500 fell more than 4% at the low of the day, led by the tech sector. The tech-heavy NASDAQ composite fell more than 5% at the low of the day and will likely fall farther on Friday due to a fear of next week's CPI data. The CPI data should moderate versus last year due to the year-over-year comparison. The risk for the market is that it won't, and there are signs it will be hot regardless of the comparison. What this means for the market is the FOMC members may bring a 75 basis point hike back to the table, and it could come as soon as June. Until then, the outlook for the second half economic activity and earnings growth is very cloudy with mounting risks. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what exactly is going on inside of the world, because that's always important. So let's give it to you from the other side here. Let's talk about this. Stocks slid drastically on Thursday as the Dow lost more than 1,000 points, shedding 3% of its value. The S&P lost similar percentages. Tech stocks took a major hit. Tesla was down 8.3%, and Amazon was down 7.6%. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq took brutal hit of 5%. The Wall Street Journal chalks the whiplash up to the weary investor seeking higher interest rates from Federal Reserve, which has so far committed to a modest incremental rate increase. So you can see where there would be some hesitation on the NFT thing. Come on, man. Just some stuff to think about. I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of stuff moving all at one time, but we know this. We know that that's the case. We know that that's what's going on. Anyways, let's get into some news and talk about some other things that are going on. Rain may affect Kentucky Derby tomorrow. Big hats will come to handy for tomorrow's Kentucky Derby as fans preparing for the bundle up for the forecast. NBC meteorologist Michelle Grossman has the latest.
We are looking at heavy rain today. Also, some showers tomorrow. But by race time, it looks like we're going to be dry with mostly cloudy skies.
Yeah, the top favorite this year include Zandon, Epic Center, and Messier. The first leg of the Triple Crown, otherwise known as the fastest 2 minutes in sports. The Preakness dates will be held in 2 weeks. So hold on, let me make sure that I understand this. This is a 2 minute race, and people prepare and fly all across the country just to go to a 2 minute race. Oh, sounds like other people preparing for other things that last 2 minutes.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, COVID on the rise with Mother's Day approaching. Coronavirus is on the rise in New York State ahead of Mother's Day's gathering. Scott Pringle has more information.
New daily COVID cases in New York hit 10,000 for the first time since the winter surge in late January. Hospitalizations are up as well. The hospitalization rate per 100,000 more than doubled in the state over the last month. New York City has its highest COVID hospitalization rate since early March. Now, last week, the city changed its COVID alert level from low to medium. City health officials are recommending masks indoors. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Scott, for that one, letting us know what is going on inside of there. Let's continue. Astronauts return home after 6 months. 4 astronauts, yes, are safely back on Earth today. They splashed down in a SpaceX capsule overnight, ending a 6-month mission of the International Space Station.
Crew has splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico off the coast of Florida.
Okay, we're waving and giving them a thumbs up. The commander called it a great ride, but admitted that it was bittersweet as they left 7 astronauts behind. 4 of them arrived last week, and for another 6 months to stay. So hold on, is it bittersweet because you left them behind, or is it bittersweet because you left, or is it just one of those bittersweet symphonies that we talk about from time to time? I don't know. Just some things to talk about. So let's talk about this one. New Yorkers in rent-stabilized apartments will be paying more soon. Yes, listen to this. The Rent Guidelines Board voted 5-4 last night to increase rents for millions plus New Yorkers living in rent-stabilized apartments. Board member Sheila Garcia was against the increase.
People are suggesting that maybe when they get evicted, they can come and live with some of the board members who are proposing these increases, because those 2% at the minimum would be devastating to most of the folks in this room.
Landlords will be able to increase rent by 2% and 4% one-year leases and between 4 to 6% on 2-year leases. The Rent Stabilization Association, which represents the building owners, is applauding the vote. They say that their costs have skyrocketed over the last few years and that it's time to pass some of this on to their renters. The Legal Aid Society says the board votes will mean that more New Yorkers will end up homeless. The board will make the final decision about the rent increase during a meeting at the end of June. If passed, rental prices would go up at the beginning of October. So let's talk about this because, rent increases is something that you're seeing. You're seeing that going kind of across the board in several different states. You're also seeing the housing market skyrocket. I will tell you, there are people out there currently that are breaking leases. And I'm talking from a landlord's perspective because most of those things have something written inside of the contract where you can break some of these things as long as you're willing to pay a penalty just to be able to get out of the house or sell the house early because of what is going on. So some interesting stuff there as we are talking. Anyways, let's continue about some other things real quick as we are 26 minutes into this thing. Deputy sued over body slamming a teen girl at a California high school. The Los Angeles County Sheriff Deputy is being sued after body slamming a girl that was 16 at a high school in Lancaster. Here is some more information.
Video from last August shows the girl walking away from the deputy after refusing to hand over her cell phone. The lawsuit says he then took her down, straddled her back for several minutes, then mocked her when she returned to campus. The sheriff's department says the video does not show the girl physically resisting the deputy before the takedown happened. The lawsuit claims the girl no longer attends Lancaster High School because the deputy still works there and she's afraid of him. Daniel Martindale, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for that one. Keeping it in California real quick. California bill would let kids 12 plus get vaccinated without parents' consent. A bill that would allow California children to get vaccinated without their parents' consent is closer to passing. I have some more Daniel Martindale right now.
The bill, which would apply to kids aged 12 and older, passed a key legislative committee on Thursday. To be eligible, the vaccine would first need FDA approval and recommendation from the CDC. Right now, kids in California can't consent to most vaccines on their own, including COVID-19 shots. Daniel Martindale, NBC News Radio.
So let's talk about that because that's going to be a hell of a change to things all of a sudden if you take a look at it from that particular portion where children can get vaccinated without their parents' consent. How the hell did they get there? I mean, at 12 years old, are you letting them roam the street and go do the things that they need to do? I mean, I'm just asking the question. I'm just trying to have a better understanding of what exactly is going on. I mean, one is to ask the question, I would imagine, correct? So let's talk a little bit more. The Fed's trying to navigate the soft economy landing when the U.S. economy is flying too high and hot. The Fed step in to tame inflation and tries not to crash the economy into a recession. I have some Mike Bowers coming this direction in regards to what he has to say.
We have both the tools we need and the resolve that it will take to restore price stability on behalf of American families and businesses.
When consumers have a lot of money like we do now from relief checks and pay hikes, we buy more stuff. If producers can't keep up, demand outpaces supply and prices shoot up. So the Fed raises the cost of borrowing, hiking interest rates, hopefully just enough so that we can softly land, but that we can tame inflation without having an economic recession. But more often than not, the Fed doesn't get this right. Plus, every time before, there hasn't been a global pandemic and a war in Europe, which makes the Fed's job adjusting supply and demand more difficult. I'm Mike Bauer.
Okay, thank you, Mike Bauer, for that one as we are talking. Let's continue moving along. U.S. intelligence helped sink Russian flagship. It appears the U.S. is doing more to help the Ukraine fight for freedom. Mark Mayfield has more information.
Officials are reported as saying intelligence provided the location of a Russian ship, allowing the war-torn country to fire missiles and sink it last month. Apparently, the U.S. didn't know that was going to happen and wasn't involved in the decision to strike. The Pentagon also says they don't share intelligence about where Russian military leaders are on the battlefield. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that. Let's continue talking real quick. Let's jump around and let's talk about road safety. Let's talk about what is going on inside of this lovely state that for some reason I tend to bring up, and some people like it and some people don't, but hey, we'll go with the more people like. Salt Lake City mayor announces steps to increase safety, curb deadly crashes. Salt Lake City mayor says that it's time to curb down the deadly traffic crashes on the streets.
As we grow and our population density increases, as more pedestrians choose to walk or bike through our neighborhoods to get where they need to go, we need to evolve. We have to put the safety of our pedestrians first.
Mayor Aaron Marindale announced yesterday the city would partner with the U.S. DOT Zero Fatality Education Program for a campaign to prevent distracted and impaired driving. The city will form a new task force that identifies problem safety areas. Aaron also wants the city council to put $2 million towards a new traffic calming projects. 9 pedestrians have died in crashes on Salt Lake City streets so far this year. The U.S. DOT Director Carlos Bracas asked Utonians to make one thing a priority before they start driving.
Whatever else is going on in your life, I ask you to do one thing. Put those troubles in the back seat before you get behind the wheel of the car and focus on the road ahead.
You know, let's talk about this because, you know, I think idealistically, it's a great idea. In reality, it sucks. I mean, okay, so put all your problems away before you start driving. Let's move forward. I get that, you know, for verbal purposes and for, you know, little clickbait stuff, that sounds fantastic. But if you're doing zero fatality, you are not living in a realistic world. Yes, do we want to have zero fatalities? Yes, I agree. Is it a realistic approach? No. So already you know that your first thing's not based in reality, and it's going to piss some people off automatically the moment you bring it up.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this. South Florida revs up for Formula One Miami Grand Prix. Did you hear about this? Some of 300,000 domestic international travelers are racing to South Florida this weekend for the Formula One Grand Prix at the Hard Rock Stadium, Rolando Adledo, where the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau says that the sold-out 3-day event is expected to bring more money than the Super Bowl at $400 million.
We see it as a tremendous opportunity to elevate the profile further of Greater Miami and Miami Beach, of course, and also to get us on the world stage.
Okay, the race will be held here for the next decade. Miami Garden residents who try to block it because of the noise and traffic concerns will get $5 million in community benefits. Rolando Aedo with the Greater Convention Visitors Bureau says the event is expected to bring in more money than the Super Bowl.
Already heard from our hotel communities, from event organizers, from the restaurants, that having an event of this scale at this time of the year is a huge windfall.
So there you go. A lot of interesting stuff going on inside of there. For sure. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more about some other things that are happening inside of the world here. Karine Jean-Pierre making history in the upcoming White House press secretary. The White House will get a new press secretary soon. Appointed will be the history-making Trey Thomas has the details.
Karine Jean-Pierre will make history when she replaces outgoing White House press secretary Jen Psaki.
She will be the first
Black woman, the first out LGBTQ plus person to serve in this role, which is amazing because representation matters.
Psaki is leaving her post on May 13th. President Biden praised Psaki for returning decency, respect, and decorum to the White House briefing room. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, there you go. Some interesting stuff going on inside of that side of the world. So let's see. Pritzker extends pension buyout option for state employees. Governor Pritzker is extending the pension buyout for the state employees. The governor signed a bill yesterday that authorizes $1 billion in funding to extend the buyout. Take a listen to this.
The legislation I'll sign today extends the window for state employees, university workers, and educators to take advantage of early access to their pension savings through fiscal year 2026.
Okay, Pritzkers believe that reduce in the state-long pension obligations and will save taxpayers some moolah. Yeah, we'll save them some moolah. So I have to tell you, we talked about this a little bit earlier, and I am still in a level of shock about this one. So let's talk about it once again, and let's have a brief discussion back and forth here. Pro-choice groups to protest outside the Supreme Court of the United States private homes. A group of pro-choice activists are planning to protest outside the homes of 6 Supreme Court justices. Michael Kastner has more information.
The group called Ruth Sent Us has announced on its website that it will stage a walk-by protest next Wednesday at the homes of what it calls 6 extremist justices, 3 in Virginia and 3 in Maryland. It also posted a Google map claiming to show the addresses of conservative justices Barrett, Kavanaugh, Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, and Roberts. The protests are in response to a leak this week of a draft Supreme Court opinion that would overturn the 1973 Roe v. Wade abortion ruling. I'm Michael Kastner.
Okay, thank you, Michael Kastner, for that one, as we are talking and moving and grooving and all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about this because, it is freeform. So we can talk a little bit about some things that are going on inside of the news that we normally would not cover on this show. We might cover it on some of the other shows, but we wouldn't cover it on this show, so let's talk about it. Defamation case pauses after a second day of Amber Heard. Court is adjourned in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation case until May the 16th. So take a listen to this.
Depp's $50 million defamation suit, countered by Heard's $100 million claim, comes after the actress wrote a 2018 op-ed about surviving domestic abuse, though never naming Depp.
Okay, Depp's team claimed that the op-ed cost him a role in Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Heard took the stand for the second day straight, testifying in her own defense on Thursday. Heard was emotional on the stand as she again claimed that she was abused by her former husband. Allegations of Depp continue to deny. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on in that world of general direction. Some things to think about as we are moving forward.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you. Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the Pre-Accident Investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
What's your weakness? What's your type? Somehow I wanna know all about you. Deep connection lights a spark. You already know me when we dance in the dark. We're dreamers. We're living. We're dreamers. We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. It's something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive.
Oh, there you go. We come alive. 42 minutes past the top of the hour. This is Wake Up featuring Emmy. This one's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. So there you go. Okay, thank you to Wake Up and Emmy for allowing us to play this one here on the Rated R Safety Show. So let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit more about some of the things that are going on inside of our little worldio here in regards of what we've been up to. So if you are looking at the screen, or I'll dump this on here real quick, we have recently wrote a new ebook for the lovely month here that we have going on. So our newest ebook is Why You Should Think Big. Yeah, think big. So if you are portioned or if you are involved with our Safety FM Plus platform, this book is readily available now with Why You Should Think Big. So readily available for the month of May. So you're more than likely or more than welcome to come and take a little readster of that thing right there. And that's what we have going on that side of our monthly book, e-club book that we do. So there you go. Anyway, so let's talk some more about some things that are happening inside of this world, because I think it is time for us to, to talk and shoot the breeze. So let's talk about this because, today's Friday, so people want to go out to the movies, at least for the most part, and do the things that they get to do. So Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is released today. It's rated PG-13. So there you go. Doctor Strange cast a forbidden spell that opens the doorway to the multiverse, including alternate versions of himself who threat humanities to the great combination forces of Strange, Wong, and Wanda. So there you go. And then The Happening is coming out today as well, an adaptation of the novel looking back at the experience with abortion as a student when it was still illegal in France back in the 1960s. And then The Twin comes out today following the tragic accident that claimed the life of one of their twins. Rachel and Anthony relocate to a quiet Scandinavian countryside with their surviving son. But when Rachel begins to unveil torturous truth about her son, she confronts the forces that are trying to take hold of them. So there you go. Some stuff that is going on inside of the world there. So there you go. Anyway, so let's talk about some pet projects real quick because I think this is always important to have some discussions of some of the things that are happening inside of our world-io. If you've ever wondered just where your cat runs off to when he or she is outdoors on ventures, wonder no more. According to new research from the Norwegian University of Life Sciences, not very far at all. Scientists use GPS technologies to track nearly 100 cats in Norway. And the results suggest that home is where the heart is, even for cats. On average, the cats spend 79% of their time outside within 50 meters or 164 feet from their home. All of the cats, the average maximum distance from home recorded was 532 meters. So let's see. A few felines, however, ventured farther away in kilometers, and those would be the ones whose owners told them to stay close. So there you go. I'm talking about some weird stuff. Let's get into some news of the weird. Let's talk a little bit about Florida because we haven't used that one in a while. A Florida woman celebrated her 100th birthday by trying something new, jumping out of a plane. Ramadan Sullivan, who served on the front lines of the nurse in World War II, took to the skies on Monday on a tandem skydive. When asked about by the TV reporter, she said, "I had never done it, and I've done a lot of things over the last 100 years, so I thought I would do it while I can." Sullivan also decided her first time of skydiving would be her last, saying, "It's scary. The worst part about it was when they began to fall, and the guy she was strapped to yelled in her ear, 'So how long have you been an instructor?'" I mean, I guess that's kind of funny. I hope she had her depends on pretty tight when that was happening.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, an American family caused a scare in Israel main airport after presenting an unexploded bombshell as a souvenir at security. A member of the family, whose names have not been revealed, had picked it up as a souvenir to visit at Golan Heights. Witnesses say that the man simply took it out of his back pocket and showed it to security staff as if he could put it in a suitcase. Security officer ordered the area to be cleared in a panic and ensured immediately. Video footage shows the shouting and the fleeting of the check-in area simply taking cover to the floor. It was on a carry-on. So let's talk about that real quick. As we are taking a look-see here at some things that are going on. This is the sound and the scene. I mean, people are in a total panic, and of course, where's the family from? The lovely state of Florida. But I mean, people are jumping on the floor and literally covering their head. Like, I don't know if you've never seen a bomb explode, but I don't think that that's going to be the level of salvation you're looking for. I'm just throwing that out there. Sorry for saying that, but it just seems like that would be the case. Anyway, so before I forget, and get too far away. Let's do a couple of different things here. Let's bring in the Market Beat Minute, and let's have some Johnny Smalls come your general direction. Well, not the Market Beat. Let's do the Motivation Minute. Let's do that one and get it moving right now.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, May.
I totally screwed that up again. Let's do something else. Let's do the wellness one, and then we'll go from there. Apparently, I can't read anymore.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. There have been some interesting studies connecting levels of testosterone to successful challenges. The data makes it very clear. Wins preceded by effort result in significant increases in testosterone. Wins not preceded by direct effort do not. That is true for all people and across all domains, physical and cognitive. Those studies also indicate that increases in testosterone lead to more wins in the future. But keep in mind, the goal is never to win easily. The more effort precedes the win, the greater the effect on both testosterone and dopamine, and as a consequence, the ability to lean into further efforts. The major impact of testosterone on the brain is to make effort feel good. That is why even subtle increases in testosterone can be very beneficial. For more information, check out AlysaMorgan.com.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Beverly. Charles Dickens said, "No one is useless in this world who lightens the burden of it to anyone else." What a cool way to say that. Charles Dickens is basically saying, be a good neighbor, be a good friend, be a good son or daughter, be a good husband or wife, be a good person. So be there for others, and you will not only help them, but you'll feel better about yourself too. If you've never volunteered before, I challenge you to find something that matters to you, then give of your time. Take a few hours to help out. Your investment of a few hours will pay you back over and over. Go ahead, try it. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. As I reflect on God's unconditional love, I'm overcome with gratefulness. I find myself praying with great fervor, Lord, I want to repay you for loving me unconditionally. Stumbling to a stop, I realize there's nothing I can do to repay the debt of love I owe. Still, I hear myself praying, I will find a way to repay you, Lord. I will, even if it takes all my life. Gently, he reminds me, my love is not to be repaid, but passed on. Dear friends, since God loved us that much, we surely ought to love each other. That's 1 John 4. Father God, help us to share your unconditional love with others. In your holy name we pray. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. Currently 53 minutes past the top of the hour. Don't worry, I did not forget. We need to talk about this because this is definitely the most important thing that I'm ever going to tell you. Let me tell you about my friends, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experience from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. No joke there whatsoever. Serious business to talk about because it's all so important as we go through this thing that we call life. Listen, if you're struggling with any of this information, or going through some of these things, you can go to the website, find out some more information, and see what can be done to be able to assist. It's important for us to be able to have these combos in regards of what is happening, because sometimes people just don't want to talk about it. So that's the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, AFSP.org, AFSP.org, or 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. So there you go. That's what I got on that side of stuff as we are talking. Let's continue taking some ganders of some other things that are happening inside of the world here. So we talked about what movies are coming out, so we know that stuff. So that shouldn't be a biggie iggy, just in case, as you know. And let's get into some other stuff. So what do we want? Do we want to talk about a list of some funny names here? Do we want to talk about some funny names? Have you ever tried to log on to somebody's Wi-Fi and you're trying to find out what the hell it is, and all of a sudden you see some weird names come up? So here we go. I have some funny Wi-Fi names courtesy of Pop Sugar. Get Off My LAN is one of them. Batland and Robin. Revenge of the Wi-Fi. Girls Gone Wireless. Wi-Fi Art Thou Romeo, Lord of the Wi-Fi, Bill Y the Science Fi, Benjamin Franland, Making Wi-Fi Great Again, and Tell Your Wi-Fi Love Here. So there you go. I have to tell you, a Girls Gone Wireless is kind of an interesting one just to have out there, just for the sake of saying it. There you go. So let's talk about some things that happened back on this day. So let's take a look around. Back in 2013, the women escaped a house in Ohio after more than 10 years in captivity under horrific conditions. They had individually kidnapped a year apart, beginning in 2022. Their captor, Ariel Castro, was arrested and convicted, and the house was eventually demolished. Castro later hanged himself in prison. A community fund awarded more than $1 million to the victims. So there you go. That happened back in 2013. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about those real quick. Meek Mill turns 35, Chris Paul 37, Mark Bryan 55, George Clooney 61, Kate Collins 63, Tom Bergeron turned 67 today, Bob Seger turned 77, and Willie Mays, the famous baseball player, he turns 91 today. If you're looking for some reasons to celebrate, well, we're going to have some of those as well for us to do today. So let's talk about that. National Beverage Day, National Crepe Subtle Day, National Nurses Day, National Military Spouse Appreciation Day, National Provider Appreciation Day, National Space Day, and School Lunch Hero Day. So these are all days that you can celebrate if you're so inclined to do so. So there you go. So some good stuff right there. What else do we have? Let's jump on to the other side of the equation. We're going to be going over to the top at the hour to radiobig.fm. If you want to come hang out and listen to some musica with us, you can go to TuneIn Radio. You can go to TuneIn just to actually get us moving and grooving. If you have the TuneIn app, we'll be right there on radiobig.fm. So there you go. Let's see if you need some whack facts for today. Amazon has a 2-pizza rule, which stipulates that no meeting should involve more than that can be fed by 2 pizzas. YouTube was created by 3 former PayPal employees in February of 2005. In November 2006, it was bought by Google for $1.65 billion. Your hair grows faster in the morning than at any other time of the day. Toads don't have teeth, frogs do. Schoolhouses were traditionally painted red because it was the cheapest available paint. And people in nudist resorts play volleyball more than any other sports. Sorry for the mental picture, because, don't want to be thinking about some things flopping around, that's for sure. So let's talk about this real quick. If you need a random joke for today, try this one. Motherhood, it takes patience, humor, and a lot of wet towelettes. If you need something for a phone starter, here you go. Pulling on the heartstrings of time. What is the biggest sacrifice your mom made for you? Give birth, what? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. When asked what is the hardest part about being a mommy, 14% of kids said this. What is it? Taking care of dad. So there you go. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on Radio Big and Safety FM. We could not do what we do around here without the most important part, and that is you, the listener. That is for sure. Anyways, I hope you enjoy your weekend. If you forgot to get a Mother's Day gift, you still got a couple of days before to do so. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. A mother is she who cannot can take the place of all other, but whose place no one else can take. Yeah, that's a confusing one. Anyways, enjoy yourself. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye. No, seriously, goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.